Afternoon, everybody. It's July the 5th here. Like I said, it's afternoon. I think it's around 1 o'clock now. Here on the mountain, just got back from the motorcycle store there in Barotac, Viejo, Iloilo. Rode the 21s this morning, had the IRC V35s, 2.75s front and back, and rode them. And put these on, which are my other set of wheels. I have two sets of wheels. These are the 18 with the V33 410s, and put them on front and back and rode that home. And I can clearly tell off-road, especially off-road, like this road here, it's got some ruts and washes and some big rocks, all kinds of stuff as you go up there, rain ruts, and gets worse in spots, and sometimes really bad and sometimes not so bad. But clearly this is far superior. Things I did more from my last ride when I put these on in, I think, May. I didn't have the fork seals greased, so they were binding. And I had the axle here. This is the axle right there. I had that all the way back, so that's the axle right there. So that was all the way back, and now I've moved it to the midpoint position, which is about a ½ inch shorter. As I went from 23.5 inch swing arm to 23, and I'm going to move it up another ½ inch, I think, and go to 22.5, which is making it turn better, and we'll see what all it does. Plus less leverage on the shock, because when I was riding double with people, it would kind of be a little too soft. I know I could adjust the preload, but as soon as I do that and I'm riding single, then it's too harsh. So by shortening the lever there, the swing arm length, it less leverage on your shock. Plus it helps it turn. Now if you're wheelie prone, have a lot of horsepower on your bike, then it will make the bike more wheelie thing. But this bike has, I think, 15 horse, 16 maybe, 18 at the most, between 15 and 18 horsepower. So not gonna throw you off the back with a horsepower. So you could have a shorter swing arm, and the benefit to that is it's going to corner a little faster and easier, be a little more maneuverable. So, and a little less leverage on the shock when you're riding double or carrying extra weight on the bike. So rear end doesn't sag out as much. So, but just generally speaking, the big tire, like I said, these are matching tires. They're matching rims, 185 rims with 410 tires. I am going to switch the rim to a bigger one, like a 515 or 250 in the back. So I'd like to get a little more flatter profile, but in the front, kind of like the round profile. As you can see, let you look down the edge there, you can kind of see it's rounded. It helps the bike turn, but clearly coming up the road, it erased probably 25 to 35% more bumps over the 21s that I was running, 2.75s. So much better. These are also here are the 3-ply, so the carcass is much stiffer. So I'm running 10 psi in it, front and back, and the front was down to 5, which I'd ran for a while. So I could probably run 0 pressure to any pressure I want, but I think optimally somewhere between 5 and 15 psi works great for these tires, because they're very stiff carcass. Like I said, they're 3-ply, at least the best of my knowledge. I believe that's what they are. So, but yeah, clearly superior over off-road over a skinnier tire. So even in the front, I think it's a winner. So I'll ride it some more and tell you what I think, but just back to back coming up the mountain here, about 3 kilometers of off-roading, just jumps out that this is 25 to 35% smoother, just easier to ride over rough surfaces, rocks. I was just riding up the mountain here. As you can see, I'm at almost at the top, and I'm just looking for rough obstacles to hit, 3 or 4 inch rocks, rain ruts. I'm not trying to take this, as you see up here, there's a smooth track, but I'm over on the side and up the middle, hitting everything I can, and it just erases it all. It's just very fantastic. So very happy with the Rusi now, with the suspension and these tires, because that was my #1 complaint the 1.5 years I've owned it, is the suspension's not very good. So I've sorted through that. If you want to know more about that, let me see, I can tell you a little bit real quick. I put 3-inch fork extenders in the fork, got them from Richard over in Mindanao here. Made a world of difference, raised the fork up another 3 inches. Running the stock shock, I tried another shock with a 1-inch extender, did not like that, I would not recommend it. But 3-inch extender, switched out the wheels a couple times. And the thing that allows me to, any motorcycle, and allows me to run such low pressure, because if you just go out to your normal Rusi and lower the pressure down, where you're going to spin the tire and rip the valve stem off and have it flat. Mine, I've incorporated two rim locks. That's a rim lock. So it's a stud with a plastic piece that locks the rim inside the tire. I got one there, and then I've got one one right there. So I've got them at the 12 spokes away from the valve stem. So 2 rim locks, each valve stem and rim lock is 12 spokes apart, because you have 36 spokes, so 12 by 3 equals 36. So I did the same with back, so now I can run flat free and get around. Also, the thing I switched out, I went with a 42 gear versus the 47 I had. It comes stock with a 43, which is good. I tried a 47, and that's a 42 sprocket, steel sprocket. And the 47 was good for off-roading, where you don't need to go so much faster. But I was, like I said this morning, I was always in 4th and 5th. I started in 4th going up the mountain, and ride up in 4th or 5th. 1 and 2 was, 1st and 2nd was unusable. It was so low. So I'm back to where, even today, right now, I'm running up the mountain in 3rd. Probably go 4th as well. So yeah, I think the gearing on the Rusi is pretty good stock. So I would say anywhere from 39 to 43 is plenty for the Rusi. It's really got a heavy flywheel, and it makes it real torquey and hard to stall. So yeah, very happy with these tires now. I was initially happy with them, but as I said before, my fork seals were sticking. So these are your dust wipers, but underneath that, you pull these down with something like a screwdriver. Be very careful. And underneath there's your fork seal. So I pulled that down, put grease around the fork seal underneath here. Then I pushed the suspension up and down, and it sucked up the grease and made them not stick no more, because they were sticking. So every time I hit a bump, it would jar me or turn left and right down the trail. So now it goes straight down the road. So when I tested these tires before, they were good, but every time I hit the bumps, the forks would twist. So I just kept blaming it. At the time, I didn't know it was the fork, so I kept blaming the tire a little bit. So now with the fork fixed, the tires are just fantastic in comparison. So I'm sure they're not perfect in all conditions, but they've really impressed me here this morning coming up the mountain. So, because I just, a couple hours ago, I was on 275s and 21 inches. So front and back is much better. So that's my 2 cents. I just like to play around with bikes, but This turns the Rusi into something fairly capable. So still the suspension's probably the weak part. I mean, again, we're talking about $1,400 motorcycle. I've got about $3,000 in it now with all the parts and things, but still that's less than 50% of a Honda, or about 50%. Depends which Honda. If you get the 150, 250, or 300, but it's cheaper than all three of them. And I think, personally, I think it's comparable. The way I got it set up, $3,000 in new parts and customized it, I would put it up against any of the Honda, the 150, the 250, or the 300. I think this is just as capable, if not more. Now, if you go fix them bikes up and invest more money, and you get $8,000-$10,000, so 500,000 pesos in them, then I think maybe they're probably better at that point. But stock Honda to this souped up with $3,000 total in it, so I paid 13 for the bike, and I put another 15 in it, so a little less than $3,000. So it's probably around 3 now, but so I think for $3,000 it's performed really well. Engine's working good. Yeah, and all the things I really did, the only thing that was I must do was that which broke was the ignition switch. The other stuff was I just wanted to fiddle with stuff, and I happened to find some things that are much better: the fork extenders, the bigger wheels, the rim locks, that type of stuff. It just turned it into from a beginner play bike to I still wouldn't call it a race bike, but knocking on the door of that. So beginner race bike, let's say. So, but that's it. That's my time. If you got any questions, that's my Rusi KRY 200 2022 model. So that's the 18 410 tires, front and back, identical front and back, IRCV 33s, 410s, I call it the Volcano, Canduro or something. You have 33, it says. I'm reading it upside down. So yeah, it's been a good little bike. I'm very pleased with it now at this point after about 1.5 years. So, but my number one complaint was always the suspension. I was like, man, it's a nice looking bike, but it doesn't work good. I'm all over the trail because of the sticky fork seals, which I didn't know at the time. I kept thinking it's the tires. I thought it was the headset. I thought this and that. I never dreamed of the fork seals causing it to kick and turn left and right as you ride. But I found that out about a month or 2 ago. So it's really turned the bike around, and now with these other parts that I've tried, it's transformed the bike. Now, I will have to say, if you're a short rider from the Philippines or somewhere else, the Asian market, most people's under 6 foot. So if you're, I would say under 5'6" or under, then it's a question mark about some of these mods, because you are raising the bike. I now have a 13-inch ground clearance between that and the engine, and I got about a 37 to 38 inch seat height. So yeah, it's a big boy, so I get on it, but sometimes, because I'm older, it's a little bit of a struggle to kick my leg up over it consistently. So, but that's my time on it. Thanks for listening. Real pleased at this point. So 18 410s, get thumbs up front and back. So I'll let you know as I get more time on it again. So thanks for watching. That's it.